Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast, where we provide you with your weekly diagnosis of everything fantasy football. Whether it's season-long leagues, dynasty, DFS, or sometimes even IDP, we got you covered all year long. Let's do it. Let's get to it. Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast. And of course, I'm your host, John June. And without a doubt, on this Wednesday evening prior to Thursday Night Football, got my guy, Greg Penniman. Greg, what is good?
What is good? What's good, fantasy people? Got this Thursday Night Football. We got Browns, Broncos, kind of hype. We got a lot. Hopefully, these injuries don't affect this game. We want these players to play. So, yeah, let's get right to this game. I'm excited.
Oh, was I on mute this whole time?
You were.
Oh, man. I wish there was a beverage here for me to sip for my grievances here. But we are breaking down Thursday Night Football. We will also be giving out our streams of the week. But there's also been some news here this evening or on this busy Wednesday where supposedly the Miami Dolphins are in talks with the Houston Texans to acquire Deshaun Watson. So, Greg, I will ask you on this Wednesday, do you trust or trash this rumor? And do you trust that Deshaun Watson will be fantasy relevant in 2021?
I trust that the trade could happen. I'm a trash that the fact that he has fantasy relevance in 2021, just based on where we are in the NFL and just as a society. I just can't see him without any of this situation off the field. Hasn't been situated yet for the commissioner and everything to let him back and play football. So I'm gonna go with trashing that he plays this year, but I think he could get traded for sure.
Yeah, I think I'm trashing all of it, honestly, because on him playing, completely agree with your sentiments. So I'm not even going to go back down that hole. But in regards to a potential trade, right? Like Deshaun Watson's value is at its lowest right now, right? Like, I mean, perceivably, like a team doesn't know. We don't know anything on a suspension or anything like that, right? Like you have no answers to those questions. So like, why would you give up significant draft capital? To me, I mean, John McClain, Houston-based reporter. How do we know this is not just something coming out of Houston to drive up that price for Deshaun Watson here? So I'm going to trash it. But again, I could wake up tomorrow and Deshaun Watson could be traded. So that's the kind of world we're living in these days. Things just happen. But the other things that happen is these streams of the week. They be hitting. So, Greg, your quarterback stream of the week, brother. What do you got?
I'm going to go with my man Tua Tagovailoa. He is only, believe just right under 50%, 40% range. He's going against this Atlanta defense where we love to attack that defense. Had a pretty good game last week, got over 300 yards, first game, season high, 329 yards, had 2 touchdowns in that semi-shootout against the Jaguars. I like his matchup here. The momentum is going. I think he's finding connection with Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki. He's getting those people involved more. So you love to see that. And, yeah, I like Tua in this matchup.
Definitely like Tua this week. We like to target Atlanta, 45% rostered, so he's probably out there in your league. I actually do have another guy, but I'm not going to talk about him. We're going to talk about him a little bit later. But my quarterback stream of the week is actually going to be Jimmy Garoppolo, 10% rostered in Yahoo leagues versus Indianapolis this week. 7th in fantasy points allowed to the quarterback position. He's at home, favored. I've got him projected for the 8th highest touchdown rate on the week. And I think in a week with 6 teams on bye, Jimmy G makes for a nice, cheap option that, again, at 10% should be available in your league.
Yeah, definitely like that. Him coming back, Kyle Shanahan, and any quarterback that's going to play is going to have success. So, yeah, I'm with Jimmy G.
Especially also, you got the caveat of Trey Lance dealing with some sort of injury there. So, you know, the likelihood of getting vultured goes down a little bit there. Greg, your tight end stream of the week, man. What do we got?
I'm going to go with my man Mo Ali Cox going against the San Francisco game in San Francisco 49ers in that game. This tight end week, you know, it's just really looking. You got to reach deep in the bag for this one, especially with 6 teams on bye. So I think this is a guy. You know, he's got 5 targets in one game, 4 targets. He's getting more targets throughout the season. I think he can get in his zone.
Yeah, I like that one there. For me, I'm going with Ross Dwelly, 1% rostered in Yahoo leagues, going up against Indianapolis, filling in for George Kittle, who's injured. Ross Dwelly's run at least 26 routes each of the last 2 weeks. Actually ran 26 routes on 29 Trey Lance dropbacks last week. So, gonna do some quick math. That's like 98% of the routes there for the San Francisco 49ers. And so he again filling in for George Kittle. Indianapolis is a bottom 10 team in terms of fantasy, or top 10 team in terms of the amount of fantasy points allowed to the tight end position over the last 3 weeks. And so I think Ross Dwelly is in play for, again, 6 teams on bye. Everybody's looking for tight ends. So Hunter Henry would be probably at the top of my list, but if you can't get to him, Ross Dwelly is the guy.
Definitely like that one there.
Greg, your defensive stream of the week, man. What do you got?
I'm going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders, playing inspired last week, getting that win over the Denver Broncos. 5 sacks in that game, had 3 interceptions in that game. I think this team is just rolling defensively. I think they can get more sacks against a running type style quarterback in Jalen Hurts, who could be, you know, susceptible to make mistakes when he's pressured. He'll get his fantasy points, but getting those turnovers, I think the Raiders can. They're only 23% roster, so go get them.
Yes, sir. I'm actually gonna. It's tough out there, man.
Yeah,
With
man.
6 teams on bye, everybody's looking for defenses. I'm going with Miami, man. 23% rostered in Yahoo leagues, 2.5-point underdogs at home. Honestly, not much here except they're available. And according to 4for4.com, Atlanta is the second best matchup for defenses after adjusting for schedule there. So if you're looking for a defense, one that's available, Miami can definitely help you out. Although I do prefer Vegas. Greg, let's move on to this Thursday night football matchup, man. As the 3-3 Denver Broncos travel to Cleveland to take on the 3-3 Cleveland Browns. This is a 41.5 point total. The Cleveland Browns are 1.5 point favorites. In terms of the injuries here, the Baker Mayfield, he's out of this game with a shoulder injury, so that's definitely Case Keenum's going to be starting there, so we'll see how that impacts the Cleveland offense. But Nick Chubb also out with a calf injury. Kareem Hunt, he is on IR with a calf injury. Jarvis Landry, he is eligible to return from IR this week, so he could be activated prior to this game. Teddy Bridgewater on the Denver side is questionable with a foot injury. A.J. Johnson, linebacker for the Broncos rather, is on IR with a pectoral injury. And then to top that off, there's a ton of linebackers on the defensive side of the ball for the Denver Broncos that are out of this game. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. There's 4 or 5 linebackers that are out for the Denver Broncos. So they're a little thin there. In terms of the weather here, there will be some rain as well as some wind. So that could impact the passing game there. Greg, where are you at with this game, man?
Ooh, it's a lot of injuries in there. To a lot of injuries in this game to a lot of key players. I'm gonna go with the Broncos though. I'm gonna go with the Broncos to win the game, take the spread, and I'm gonna take the over in this game. Yeah, on the Broncos side with Nick Chubb, if he's not going, Dearness Johnson, one of the top guys in the waiver for having this spot start here. Uh, he's probably going to get that early down work. Demetric Felton is probably going to mostly play receiver in the slot, hopefully. So that'd be good for those two. I like Dearness Johnson as like a low end RB2. Think Demetric Felton could have some low end flex consideration if he's used as a receiver, especially if Odell can't go. He's dealing with a shoulder injury. Jarvis is like maybe rumored to come back as well off of the IR. So they could be bleak at receiver. So him and Donald Peoples-Jones would have some flex consideration. And the stars of the team would probably be the tight ends as they use David Njoku. It seems to be had one of the leading receivers on his team. So David Njoku has some low tight end one upside. Will Austin Hooper possibly getting a touchdown. And on the Broncos side, Teddy Bridgewater has streaming value definitely against this vulnerable Cleveland defense. Defense has just fallen off. We talked about that during the waiver wire pod episode. Cortland Sutton getting into his high target share throughout the year. He's a solid wide receiver too for me. And that the saddest running back situation in the game, Javonte and Melvin Gordon, just eating each other's value up. They're pretty much both RB3s until one can kind of tilt that trajectory. And but you have them in your lineups because there's 16 months by. So I know you're probably, especially at running back, teams are not deep, so you're definitely putting in your lineups.
I can't believe I did that twice. One show.
Crazy.
But I'm with you on this game here. I'm going to take the over. Going to take Denver to cover. Taking Denver to win. Yeah, completely forgot to mention the Odell injury here, but he's missing some time there. So I think they really, no Baker, no Odell. I think they really lean on this run game here with Dearness Johnson. He probably headlines this crew on the Cleveland side as the top option, just in general. Really, I think he's a volume-based RB2 with the chance to score a touchdown possibly as well.
Yeah,
Demetric Felton, I totally agree with you. I think he's in play. I would put him more in like desperation flex RB3-4 territory. Him being eligible obviously on both sites as a running back, wide receiver. But Joshua Kelly's presence also in this backfield is something that we should note. Veteran running back from the Rams. We could see an RBBC running back by committee, without the top dogs in Cleveland this week with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. But it's tough for me to want to attach myself to this pass game. Not saying, typical backup quarterback, right? Case Keenum comes in, the line barely moves, 1.5 points. Cleveland's still favored. Then you remind yourself, Case Keenum's a veteran quarterback. He's played in big games before, played in playoff games. I think he's been in this offense, right, coming from Minnesota where Kevin Stefanski was the coordinator. So he's going to be just fine in this game here against Denver, operating the offense. But when I look at the 24-mile-per-hour winds here that are potentially going to be in this game, then I really don't want to be part of, attach myself to this pass game. But I do agree David Njoku potentially is an option here if you need tight end help. Again, especially 6 teams on bye.
Yes,
Keep
sir.
saying it.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, Teddy Bridgewater, I referenced him before. He would be my top option as a streamer. If we're talking about guys that are available, Teddy Bridgewater is sub 50%. So he would be my top option here against a Cleveland defense that has been absolutely terrible. And then Cortland Sutton should be in line here for another nice game. Again, like we talked about, that Cleveland defense is not very good. And he's 8th in target share over the last 3 weeks, 27.5% of the team targets. I've got him finishing as a top 10 wide receiver this week. So I'm very much into Cortland Sutton. Tim Patrick, who I know you've been pounding the drum for heavy since the Jerry Jeudy injury. Continue to play that man. I mean,
Yes,
he's
sir.
continued to
This is
ball as
this
well.
last week of squeeze as we get before Judy
Yeah,
comes back.
you gave that orange one last squeeze this
Yep.
week. Noah Fant, again, I mean, I think the matchup is a little bit tough here, but he's going to see these targets. He should do well here. And then again with the Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon, man, I mean, that split's never coming. It's not going to change. It's going to be 50-50.
Yes, sir.
So it is what it is. I'll have to live with it. So I think you could flex either one of these guys, and they'll be RB3s flex options until something happens and one of these guys gets more work.
Just be glad that they're playing and they're not on bye. Like you got some options to play a running back this week because it's
Honestly,
looking rough
right?
out there,
Like
man.
seriously. Greg, do you have a bold prediction for the peeps?
I'm gonna go with Austin Hooper scoring a touchdown.
Austin Hooper scoring a touchdown. Okay, I like that one. I'm gonna go with. Cortland Sutton.
100
Two
yards,
tutties.
2 tutties.
2 tutties.
Two, I love that. I mean, the 100 yards with the 2, yeah, that'd be.
I'm not gonna do that. Let's go 80 yards and 2 tutties.
I like that. Definitely like that for fantasy teams for sure.
All right. Well, with that being said, we'll close it here, and we will catch y'all tomorrow as we break down the 1 p.m. games. And then obviously we'll catch y'all on Saturday morning when we break down the remaining slate of games, do our starts of the week, and play some get money. So until next time, we'll catch y'all later. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, the podcast, and it'll be very much appreciated. And we're out of here. Peace.
Yeah.